Okay. Just give me a hot minute here. Do the usual checking on things. Test 1, 2. Sounds good. Piano check. Sounds good. Let me see the sound levels on it. Hold on. Where is Ableton sound levels? Okay. Later on when I do Project 99, I'm also going to have to do a sound check, but I'll have to add it. But we look to be good. Camera check. The light out there is bright enough, so I don't think I need to do... I don't think I need to turn on my light here. No, this is fine. Okay. Where's my Bible at? Okay, so sound check is done. Close that. We're going to go into Ableton. Perfect. All right. So it's been a couple of days. Of course, I've been streaming most every day on a request. Okay. But music stream, it's been a while. So hello. Or if there is consideration for this from my professors and peers, this will just be the archive footage of me going through the initial stages of reading scripture, particularly the Gospel of St. John, chapter 9 today. I'm going to analyze it, analyze the theology, and then see how I can communicate that musically. Again, I'm trying to put a bit more emphasis alternating tracks. So John 8, there was a bit more emphasis on the feeling and the lectio divina of it. You know, read the scripture. How does it make me feel? Translate that through improv. That seems to be how the even numbers are working. The odd numbers, I believe it's just a deliberate thing. So I'm trying to hone in on the theology and then make informed musical decisions based on that. But what I've realized is that it's always a hybrid, and I'm not going to force it one way or the other. I'm going to go in with the intention of really try and lock in on the theology, but sometimes the chapter doesn't really give you anything that's... It's always theologically relevant, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times a message is repeated that I've already kind of covered in a previous song, or it just doesn't communicate well through an artistic vision, or at least not for me. So, yes. Anyway, regardless, I'm going to open up my kombucha before that disrupts anything. I will be working on the Gospel of St. John, chapter 9. I have many, many Bibles. I thought maybe I would use my Sefer, which is beautiful. It's my main reading Bible. Tries to restore some of the old Hebrew. But today, and what I have been using for my project is the Orthodox Study Bible. I like the headers. It provides headers for every section of the chapters, and I think that's easier for me to try and discern. So, for example, when I go into John chapter 9, it is split into one. Oh, there's a big... Okay, John chapter 9 only has 2 sections. A lot of the others had 3 or 4. So John chapter 9, they divide it into 2 sections. A much smaller section, so the first maybe third of the chapter is the man born blind sees. Then the other 2/3 of the chapter are called those who see, those who do not. Okay. I'm going to read it and see what happens. Now as Jesus passed by, he saw a man who was blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, saying, Rabbi, who has sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of God should be revealed in him. I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." Okay, so there he's referring to the impending kind of the darkness after he is the light of the now. He is the daytime. That's the mission of Jesus, and then it will be nighttime when he passes. When he had said these things, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and he said to him, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam," which is translated sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. Therefore the neighbors and those who previously had seen that he was blind said, "Is this he who sat and begged?" Some said, "This is he." Others said, "He is like him." He said, "I am he." Therefore they said to him, "How were your eyes opened?" He answered and said, "A man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, 'Go to the pool of Siloam and wash.' So I went and washed, and I received sight." Then they said to him, "Where is he?" He said, "I do not know." All right, so a lot, obviously, the dialogues here is uh, very core of the the four canonical gospels. It's very common, but it's not particularly useful for me right now. But there is a miracle. All right, so there is the quote of Jesus where he is the day. Now he is working in the day while he is on his mission, and then soon it will be night. Okay, that much is clear. I could do a little bit of a juxtaposition, brightness, day and night musically is one of the easier things I think I could translate here. Then there's the miracle of making the blind see. I could do something interesting with like muted sounds that are just all of a sudden, there's an opening, there's a something that fades in, some kind of a clarity, like visual to emulate visual clarity, something that's like maybe distorted that becomes clearer over time. Then there's that whole other section. But I feel like I have enough to work with here. But maybe I should continue reading and see. Maybe not. So they brought him to the blind man to the Pharisees. It's a Shabbat when he did it. So the Pharisees also asked him again how he received sight. Uh, they believe, some say he's not from God. He doesn't keep the Sabbath, so he's breaking the rules. They're accusing him of being a sinner. They asked him how. Um, what do you say about him because he helped you see? That he says he proclaims Jesus to be a prophet. But the Jews do not believe concerning him that he'd been blind and received his sight, so they don't believe him. The parents vouch for him. They try and get him to turn against Jesus. The man answers, "Whether he is a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I know, that though I was blind, now I see." Popular line, I think, once I was blind, but now I see. I think that's in Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Da 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 da. Maybe I can do a little bit of Okay, there's something there. Amazing Grace, the melody. Typically, I don't want to put. I would not want to. Hmm. I have copyright issues floating in my head, but typically I don't want to use anybody else's something or anything. But there is a little motif. Bum 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 bum. Was blind, but now I see. I could eventually. I'll figure it out after a couple minutes. I can also look it up online. Oh no, I think that's it. Was blind, But now I see. It might not even be the exact notes, and that's fine. That works out in my favor, because if I end up publishing this in any way, you know, they can ding me for having the motif be there. Curious, though. Um, just do a little. Okay, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. I was blind, but now I see. So it only is used once. John Newton is the author of this one. Born to a Christian home, but his godly mother died when he was 7. And he joined his father at sea when he was 11. His licentious and tumultuous sailing life included a flogging for attempted desertion from the Royal Navy and captivity by a slave trader in West Africa. After his escape, he himself became the captain of a slave ship. Several factors contributed to Newton's conversion, a near drowning in 1748. People lived such interesting lives back then, it seems. Every time you read something about... Okay. Now, I don't know if you'd be able to hear this. That's fine. But I'm playing. Hold on. What key is this in? The piano's on a weird angle. I'm trying to see which sharp he's hitting here. I don't know. Oh my goodness, I don't know what the heck that was. I'm gonna watch that I'm gonna watch that stream over again because I want to see what I look like when I'm terrified. But that, I apologize if anybody caught that, but that was like the shrieking sound that shot through my headphones. Holy moly. Okay. What the hell was that? So, test 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, that was terrifying. Holy crap. Right, so I can't immediately discern the key here, not off this video. He's playing one sharp in particular. I don't care about what the chords are. It's more the melody. Okay. Well, I think you can play it in a C position. Okay. Okay. So if we're kind of sorry, I'm so sorry about the damn whatever that was. I swear my ears, they're like bleeding. There's like a ringing in the back of my head. Horrifying screech. Uh, Amazing Grace can be played in the C position, and I think the last track, actually I usually listen to the last track. Maybe we'll do that really quick. Um, John 8. John 8, I believe, was in the key of C major. Oh yes, this is kind of like the very free and loose improv. Okay, it starts off quite a bit louder. And then those bottom tracks drain off, that's why. It's such a weird track, but that was kind of the idea. Was this one? It was there was a huge theme of freedom, this overarching theme of the truth setting you free, or knowing the truth and being free because of it. But also, I wanted to show how there's a bit of a discord and a discomfort in truth and freedom, right? So this is kind of like it goes all over the place. Regardless, it goes all over the place in the key of C. So, right? Okay, so there's an idea I have. There's a very simple kind of I can do some kind of a variation of Amazing Grace. Um, calling back to this whole being blind. Once was blind, but now I see. I can do an homage to that in my own way. But what I'm going to do first is delete this. I think I want to delete all these other instruments here really quick. I can always get them back. And then save this live set as John 9. Okay. See, almost has oh, the listener's gonna be like, hey, they might have this feeling of, oh, he's kind of playing that. Oh no, he's not, right? So it's because that's kind of how Amazing Grace starts. I think it was one of the first songs in my book, in my kind of my learn children's piano book. So I know it can be played in the C position, which may mean nothing to you, but instead of me moving my hands too far up and down playing the chords C, F, and G, for example, you actually do an inversion, like a second or third inversion of the F chord, so that you're actually keeping your hand in the same spot and you're just moving your fingers over just a couple of notes each. So I can play like a C here, then in the F, then a G, but I'm barely moving my hand. So I could do this, up until now I've been kind of moving up and down the piano a lot more, but I could do this homage to Amazing Grace because I think of it when I think of the blind man seeing. Being blind but then seeing. What else? We have neither this man nor his parents sinned. The works of God should be revealed in him. So revealing the works within this man. I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Oh, hey, Sugary. Kombucha. My homemade kombucha, which is fermented. Well, it's fermented tea. Um, I'm fermenting specifically or a blend of orange pekoe and oolong tea. Fermented it an extra day or two, so it's got a little bit of a extra tang to it. Have you been here a while, or did you just drop in? Hope I don't know if you caught that shrieking noise. I got the ever living shit scared out of me. Something happened in my headphones, and it just like horrible, horrible. Your wife likes it. Does she brew it? Oh, a few minutes. Okay, so I think you missed it then. It happened maybe 10 minutes ago. Oh, hey Dan. Hey, how's it going? I don't know if either of you caught, but yeah. So this is my project music stream. So it's yeah, you're welcome to come in and chat. What I'm doing is I'm just working on my music projects, reading scripture and trying to find clever ways to communicate it in song form. I think I kind of have an idea here, and then I either I improvise a little bit or I do something more deliberate for an hour or two, and I just archive this so that in 4 months when I'm presenting my project with like an album's worth of music, I have hours of footage showing how I made it, the logic behind it, blah blah blah. Oh, cool. Cool, cool, cool. I appreciate the lurking and the listening. I will be doing EverQuest later, the usual. Uh, I think I'll be starting my character on Project 99 and checking that out a bit. And hopefully a little bit of Frost Reaver too. Honestly, yesterday, I mean, I had fun, but I didn't know I was going to be in a tutorial for 4.5 hours. I was kind of over it. Brutalistic, clicky, worn proc spreadsheet is looking great. Ooh. Yeah, I can't wait to go back and I use Excel a lot more than I used to. Probably not as much as I would if I worked in an office, let's say, but yeah, I had to cross that hump of getting used to making spreadsheet-like things. I'm going to be doing a very lullaby type track. I was just explaining to future me in the archive that because I'm doing John 9, I don't know how much either of you really care about scripture or the Bible, but the Gospel of John, chapter 9, is when Jesus works one of his miracles. He spits in mud, rubs it in a blind man's eyes, and then he can see. And there's a line that he says at one point saying, I don't know if this guy's a sinner, but I know that I was blind, but now I see. And I think that line is what prompted the lyrics for Amazing Grace. So it made me think, oh, maybe I can actually do kind of a song that sounds like it might be Amazing Grace, but it's not quite. It's just different enough. So I just thought, hey, I'll keep it simple like that. But there's also this concept of Jesus trying to work within the man. Also, don't mind me. I'm also just talking so that I can, when I'm writing my report, I know where my head was at. But there's also this idea of, yeah, so like, why is this guy blind? Is it because his parents sinned or something? I said, no, he's blind because so that the works of God should be revealed in him, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day, because the night is coming when no one can work. Which is kind of this beautiful imagery of, after the time when he's on earth and then when he's crucified, and there's kind of like this darkness that hits for a time. So I don't know if I want to capture this like fading light, this day night time to nighttime in the background. Maybe I can do that with a pad sound over this. And I might do that. And also working the effects in the man I feel like maybe the piano should be joined by something else, some subtle thing. Maybe the lute. Maybe not. I might use a lute. I might use some other kind of a lead, a light, bright sound. I guess since you guys are talking, I'll also converse with you. It's kind of nice to have some conversation here during the music streams. They can be they can be a little bit boring for me. Well, no, not really, but it's kind of all work, no play, and so that's nice to see a conversation. I hope EQL pans out though. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna retroactively get that back out here. Why does it start there? I don't know. Okay, this little passage might be useful. It's crazy to see your MIDI notes after the fact. Okay, that's where I'm... That's unfortunate. This one? Nope. Okay. There's something there, so I'll definitely save that. I got rid of that one sour note. Uh, yeah. I was watching I was brewing my kombucha as I do twice a week. 'Cause I make like 12 of these bottles between me and my roommate, it's the perfect amount. If I was by myself, I'd probably just make one batch of six bottles. But anyway, so I was doing that, and when I do the kombucha, I inevitably kind of make breakfast and clean the kitchen, do all that crap since I'm in the one spot. So it's about an hour and a half, let's say. So I like to put on a YouTube video, if I can. And I watched a guy, pretty big EverQuest YouTuber, talking about his experience in Legends and how he wanted to hate it, but he ended up liking it. And it was nice to have something like that, an alternative after THGA disappeared. But yeah, he voiced some concerns. But overall, but it just made me think about EverQuest Legends, and I thought, I really missed it. Um, which is funny. I did really enjoy it. As much as I want to discover the other EverQuests, I'm really looking forward to Legends returning. Yeah, are you more of a classic type sugary virus? I mean, it sounds like it. I'm looking forward to trying P99 today. Like I said, I've installed it once or twice over the past few years, made a character, and then I didn't play it because I guess I wasn't ready to get invested. But I would brew beer. Actually, somebody bought me a brewing book. I haven't missed. Oh, you haven't played it in 20 years. Wow. Yeah, okay. But yeah, well, there's so yeah, definitely you're kind of stuck in the classic headset. But I know a lot of people just explicitly play that. So no, I'm not opposed to brewing beer. I just eventually, actually, the kombucha does have a tiniest bit of alcohol, but it's so little. You know, it's like 0.5% at the high end. But no, I might brew. I might brew some beer. I have a book that shows how to make different types of alcohols and spirits with various fruits and vegetables. I'm just missing one or two core key components to make it, but um, yeah. So I'm excited to play P99 because uh, I've always had a nostalgia for certain games, even though I've never played them. So I'm absolutely dying to play like a classic EverQuest. Of course, Legends gave me that to a degree. And TPLs, well, I'm hoping I like that too, but I right now I feel more excited to play P99. And yesterday playing live, well, it's hard to say, but the tutorial was like so long and it had the quest log, and I don't know if I actually liked the quest log. I kind of liked Legends in the beginning where there is no quest log. It's like, hey, talk to an NPC if you want, maybe do things for him, or just completely ignore it altogether. I actually much rather that because as soon as you start giving me a checklist with too many things to do, my brain needs to do everything. And then I start playing the game funny. You know, I feel like I'm actually just on autopilot and not on an adventure, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping the more modern type of EverQuest doesn't do that to me, but I was kind of feeling that way yesterday. Uh, Shiner, yeah. Well, I have never tried that, but whew, definitely. My friend used to brew his own vodka, I think, with, in his basement room with potatoes. Stuff hit so hard, though. Oh, yeah, there is. I could have actually, when you're making a character, Sugar, there's a button, actually, much like Legends, there's a checkbox you click for tutorial. So you can just skip it altogether. But I think what happens is you get a few items and you get some free levels from doing the tutorial, I guess. I just didn't know it was going to be 4+ hours. You can skip it. Yeah, you can absolutely skip it. Thank goodness. But I don't plan on doing it again. I think even if I play on Frost Reaver a bit tonight or tomorrow, which is the TLP server, because it has you starting in a classic era, I don't think there's a tutorial. But if there is, I'm skipping it. I don't even care about the items. After doing it once, yeah. No, honestly, I know it like explains the game, but maybe I'm one of the minority, or I actually prefer to just figure that stuff out. I don't want to have a bunch of boxes and stuff just telling me all the time. I kind of get tired of that. It was really fun to play Legends and to have almost nothing told to me. It was like discovering, you know? Shoot, I should have moved that up here. Hmm. Okay, yeah, same thing. I mean, yeah, I think that's the appeal is a lot of people gravitate or love classic EverQuest because it didn't do that stuff. And that's why a lot of them got pissed, is because it started making changes to kind of compete with the standards. And that's fine, I get it. You want your stuff to survive to some degree, but um I guess the real identity for a lot of people is in classic, and I could see it. Even though I wasn't playing it when it came out, I was watching videos a lot, and people are always talking about the game in that way. And so I feel like I know EverQuest in the classic sense more than I do anything else. So it's weird to me, even when I'm playing it, I'm thinking, oh, I know this doesn't belong because somebody on a video told me it doesn't belong. Okay, actually, wait. Let's start here. Okay, I'm gonna keep that. Just kind of doing some variation of something that sounds like Amazing Grace, but different variations, and I'm gonna like splotch them together. I think that'll be fun. Okay. Now, I'll leave that for now. I can always repeat. So, now as Jesus passed by, he saw a man who was blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, saying, Rabbi, who has sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of the works of God should be revealed in him. I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. So long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. That's deep. Okay, so day going to night. So maybe I want this. There's this brightness. So on one hand, day is going to night, but on the other hand, a blind man is able to see. So I kind of want to show clarity, but show something being unclear to becoming clear, while I'm also showing night fading into darkness, or sorry, day fading to night. Well, maybe I don't have to show day going to night, because technically at this point in time we're just in the daytime. Jesus is walking the earth, so I can kind of keep more of a bright disposition, but introduce some kind of clarity, the works working within the man. So maybe I can have the brightness start from nothing and then become more clear, like fade in over time. There can be some extra element, like a pad or an extra sound. Maybe I'll add a MIDI track, and then I can add another instrument. I have the perfect thing in mind. Somebody modeled, what the hell is it called? Packs? No. Where'd I put it? Plugins. Plugins, DSK, no. Nils. Nils KIV, K1V. I wish you could see this on the screen, because it's only showing you my Ableton screen. It's not showing you the plugin screen, but it's this guy completely emulated a K1V, a Kawaii K1V, which is nuts. I never got to use this. I think my stepfather had one, but he emulated all of the sounds, all of the like 300 plus sound banks in it, and gave it away for free. Just what the hell? Oh wow, okay. So Dan, that's pretty bold. So what was it that you wanted to do in regular EQ that you got done? EQL sticking around for a year, that's fun. Do you also play P99 at all? So I think about that. EQL so far, I love it. I'll see. I wanna see where the game goes and just play as it grows to say, hey, I was there since the beginning. I'd like to see how it evolves. Of course, P99 because I want to get that classic feeling. But I want to look at EQ Live because of all the expansions, and I don't want to say, oh no, but it's when I think about it, it is kind of overwhelming, right? How can one because when you start on EQ Live, you're just encouraged to skip ahead, like to skip through all the levels to get to the end game content, which is why I think um time lock progression servers are nice. But then again, it's like, well, how many different EverQuests am I gonna play, So my brain is trying to wrestle with what the hell I'm gonna do there. Yeah, multi-class is fun, and the reimagining, absolutely. I want to play P99 just to get the feeling of like I want to know what it's like just to play a cleric. Because my first time playing EverQuest, I'm playing 3 classes at a time. So for a new player, hey, that was really cool, and I could see where each class is different. But I still want to experience just the one class thing. Um, oh, you can end the tutorial whenever you want. Okay. Whoops. Well, I slogged through it yesterday. I was not into it, and I apologize. Yeah. I think anyone who was at the live could kind of see like, it's not the most interesting thing going on right now. Casual rating, endgame rating, and group played at the class. Okay, no, that's fine. You did all you wanted. 99 to 01, then like 2003 to wow, yeah, you were in it. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, if your wife at the time was in it too, I can imagine. I remember as soon as I was dating a girl who I found out was moderately interested in World of Warcraft, like kind of like that idea. She's like, "Oh, I think I could play a warlock." I got my laptop set up, got an extra box set of World of Warcraft, and I tried to get her in there as soon as I could. Yeah, didn't last long for me though, but yeah, it was fun while it lasted. She wasn't enough of a gamer. She liked the aesthetic and the concept, but when she realized, how much she'd have to learn and invest, it was a bit of a. Eh. Even my roommate, I show her all kinds of games, and she's into lots of stuff, but there's some learning curves. She just forget it. Okay, let's see what this sounds. I want something bright. Can I just type in bright? Okay, that's cool though. You did quite a bit. So, I mean, I guess I'd love to say the same. I'd love to experience a lot of what EverQuest Live has to offer, but I'm backtracking so much as well, right? So right now it's overwhelming. So I think in my mind, I really want to get to know the early expansions well. So I feel, okay, P99 Legends and maybe a TLP, but especially P99 and Legends, I can really get to know the base game, I think, best that way. So we'll see. And then when I feel like, okay, I need something new, then I can go into live a little bit more. Oh, shoot. Oh, dang. Okay, yeah. She played WoW more than you. It's like on paper, we think we want that, right? And then... Yeah. It's nice being yeah, like if you're an actual female. It's not always nice as someone who like most of my main characters I like to play females in MMOs. The only thing that's bad about that is if people may jump to the conclusion that you're actually a female, and then you have to have that awkward moment of being like, sorry. Uh, well, that sounds like something out of EverQuest right there. Bard fit a female. Oh, that's fair. I feel like eventually I'm going to create a male character again. I just well, it's because I'm making a first character on all of the things, and so I'm kind of stuck on this. Well, I want my main character to be that female cleric, and then I'll switch it up after. So you might see me making a female cleric a one or two more times, and then I'll actually play different things. I'm still on the fence with that too, though. Oh. Okay, I don't think that's gonna work. Some really good. I think I found this because I was looking up really good fun sound packs for dungeon synth, so I got a very good. It's got that very classic sound. I'm curious how this will mesh. So if I copy these two, paste them here. Why isn't that working? Oh, okay. It could work. Not quite the right vibe, though. want to spend too much time selecting. Just something bright that works with the piano, which I have. I just want to see if I can find it here. Get a different sound, you know? Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting. What's that sound like? Hmm. It's like the weird mesh of something that's hyper synthetic and hyper realistic sounding. It's okay. I'll put this off for a second and switch to. I'll go all and I'll just type in. Accidentally deactivated it. It's making it look like oh, auto. There we go. Okay. It's so bizarre. Okay, something bright. Bright lead. Maybe this. Maybe that, and I can chop off some of the... I don't know what I was thinking. That's a saw lead. That's... No, stop. Right pad. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. I also think I don't like what I'm playing in this first section. bit too fast. Yeah. And I think this would be better with the... Okay, so get rid of you, get rid of you. Take you guys down. See what pads I have. Like, I want it to sound like the light is literally just shooting. Like that, like it feels when you're looking at the sun and the rays hit your face. It's kind of the vibe I want here. Okay, that's kind of nice, ish. Sometimes I'm just so picky. Okay, that's subtle. This just has a very heavenly sound. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's the one, I think. So I can fade that in. After I arrange it, I'll copy paste the parts I want it to come in. Slap maybe a little bit of reverb on it to make it sound even wider. Okay. Shoot. Something was there and then I lost it. But it's when I went up the octave there. Okay. Holy crap, how long did I play that for? Wasn't that long? Jeez, okay. Just as an homage to an old lullaby, I kind of like this, you know? Okay, actually, I wasn't so bad at the end. I don't know why I was... Oh, that's awesome to hear. Cool. Well, I'm also hoping, you know, like, the idea is hey, it's musical composition and improvisation as spiritual exercise, but it's really at its heart, I just want to make something that's nice to listen to and people can work to it, fall asleep, you know, good background music. Maybe they go a little somewhere, they daydream a little bit, it catches them, brings back a memory, something like that, you know. I was a bit too critical there towards the end. I thought I messed it up, but well, it's not perfect, but I'm also not trying to make perfect music. I'm just kind of going with the flow. Just want it to be cohesive. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, I think. Yeah, Dan, yeah, it's a great way of looking at it, actually. A statement with a little bit of exploration. It's kind of what happened there at the end. There's a note that I hit. It's a little bit off time. Like, I don't even know what, I didn't even, I forgot to set a BPM. I don't even know. Doesn't matter. I kind of trip on myself, but okay, there's one little clumsy note at the end. If I just remove it, oh, I removed the wrong one. It was down here, of course. If this was a bit sooner, would that be better? Hey, it makes sense. I get that. It does make. I think a lot of music, yeah, you can talk about it logically, and I think I think some musicians would understand. The ones that are more technically minded. Um, what I'm thinking actually as I'm listening to this, it goes brighter. Oh, it gets brighter towards the end, and maybe there's like a little bit of a delay on a note. I fumble a little bit. It's not perfectly in sync. It's not exact, but most of the time when people are listening and they've been listening to something for a few minutes, they don't typically notice stuff like that. Um, but also, I'm trying to represent a man being healed of his blindness and things becoming more clear, and I could justify it by saying when he opens his eyes, he's been blind his whole life. It is difficult to see, so there is a bit of a stumble there, right? Exactly, and I wouldn't want to clean it up too much, most of all. That's a thing I stopped myself from doing on many of the previous tracks. I said, nope, there's no mistakes for the most part. But I can justify this kind of so-called exploration. It's the blind man's world becoming clear. It's like that glare of sun hitting him in the face. Him experiencing it for the first time. Okay, maybe I just remove that one note, though. It's just that one note. No? Did I remove the wrong note? Started a little bit sooner. So close. I think it was actually a lot closer to being where I wanted it to be. That's fine. Leave it there. Oh, drum machine. Oh, exactly. Yeah. It does help that it is related to math. It was part of my initial research was showing how, the ancient Greeks related it to math and discovered how, octaves and perfect fourths and perfect fifths are all mathematically very nice fractions, and therefore that's why they have such a harmony with one another. Yanni. Oh my God, Yanni. Wait, Yanni. Isn't that the that's not the saxophone. No, not the saxophone player, is it? Or am I thinking of no, 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 no. I'm thinking of someone else. Oh, so my EQL playtimes. Well, the I've been streaming around, which is basically most of when since I've been playing EQL, I've been streaming almost all of it. They just so it seems like at the very least, I'd say it's safe to say like 9 to 2 a.m. So 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern time. So for you that would be 6 p.m. to um 11 p.m. East Pacific. Um but yeah, that's at the very least. I may also play I might stream at different times once in a while. I might even play outside of stream. I imagine I'll want to do that sometimes. Um but yeah, you can almost guarantee that I'd be around, around 6 p.m. to maybe even midnight on Pacific time. And as for servers, I was planning on just going right back on Freeport, which is apparently the Eastern server. I don't really think that matters too much in this game, but I was on Freeport, so I assumed I'll just go back on Freeport. Plus, oh yes, I made a bunch of buddies from grouping up on that server, and one of them even wants to explore the idea of joining his guild. Um, Although speaking of guilds, I also thought, hey, if the live if if my streams continue to to get more people, I'd figure wouldn't it be fun to just do a guild that's like a community guild, you know? Okay. Well, if there's not much keeping you there, yeah, come to I forget I forget who else is Freeport, but I definitely am. Now that I think about it, yeah, I have a couple like at least four good reasons for me to stick on Freeport. No way, Dan, that was you. It You gave me 9. Okay, so here's what happened. I That's actually really weird. I saw those at the end of the stream because yesterday I was like, oh, it was a quiet stream, right? It was like it was quiet and I was playing a different EQ and I was playing the tutorial of live, which after playing Legends, a lot of people might not be interested in. I was like, okay, but we're doing it. And then I saw that I got 9 subs, and I was so confused, but I was also happy. And yeah, so I did have 80 subs last night, and then I refreshed this morning because I wanted to, yeah, just check on stuff, and it went back down to 71. So I have no idea, but I didn't realize that's really weird. I don't know why it removed all 9 of your subs. It acknowledged them, and then this morning I still had the live summary open, even on my laptop where I monitor the chat. It reset there. It went from 9 to 0, and I was so confused. I was like, why would it give me such a false number? I've had it happen before where I had 3 subs at the end of a night, and then it went down to 2, and I figured, okay, maybe someone changed their mind. That's fine. Weird. Oh, hey, mommy. I guess I was going to tell you the story, but now you just heard it. Yeah, so remember I was at 80 yesterday? Now I know why. Oh, I was at 80 and then I went back down to 71 this morning, but now I have an idea why. That was your troll account? Well, Yeah, I mean, thank you for the alternate subs. I just don't understand why it did that. Then again, YouTube Live does take a while to it kind of hides numbers and then it updates them a while later. Like my watch hours don't update for maybe a week because they have to verify stuff. I don't know. Obviously. Okay, well, you're still subbed on them, so YouTube will surely acknowledge that, right? Maybe they, I don't know, that's super weird. But thank you for clarifying because I was confused. I'm like, I didn't so much mind that because technically when I got up this morning, it was like I lost 9 subs, but as far as I knew, okay, I never had those 9 subs. That's fine. I had a day where I streamed like 10 hours and I got 0, so I'm not always assuming that just because I'm online I'll get them. But I was just more confused than anything. I was kind of worried, like why would YouTube give me false numbers like that? Hmm, weird. Okay. So I like that part. So I can copy paste this down here. Hmm. Yeah, YouTube got me, trolled me big time. Let's see if I refresh it. Yeah, it still pops up as 71. Okay, let's see how this sounds. I'm gonna bring in the volume of the sweeper. Kind of like emulate it, the automation here. Oh, it's creeping in. It sounds very heavenly. I'll creep it in slower though, but this is... I won't let the volume go too high though on it because it can get... I still have to put a bit of reverb, but it gets a little bit abrasive. Oh yeah, no, really, Dan, that's... Jeez, when you told me, you're like, where did the subs go? I subbed on 9 alternate accounts. That's crazy. Yeah, maybe YouTube's on to us. We're like, no, no, no. Okay, I like that second part a lot. Do I need to do a third part, or can I just arrange with what I have? I don't want to make this track necessarily too long because most of the other 8 tracks are 6 minutes long, and it doesn't have to be like that. So we'll see. We'll see after tonight. Um, we'll see if the numbers come back. But if actually, if I go on my, it might take a second because, like I said, my view hours also have a delay because I wanted to see if live was actually counted as going towards your view hours, and they do. I'm on the wrong section. Okay. So right now, it shows the numbers as of July 17th. So technically, the numbers I have now are somewhat accurate, but in many ways they're going to change. Like they're 5 days behind. So maybe those subs, because it was an overwhelming amount, it might take a while, and it might let's say in 4 or 5 days actually register. Yeah, when actually I am looking in YouTube Studio. I'm in YouTube Studio, and then you go down to the Earn tab. It gives you an overview, slightly behind. Oh, maybe you're talking about just the dashboard. Yeah, weird. It says everywhere it says 71. Even my watch hours though are behind. So they give me some different numbers on the watch hours. Even views, everywhere I look, different views reported. It's so bizarre. I've given up analyzing the numbers too much because I'll go crazy. I'm like, no, just do the things I want to do. It's the numbers they fall in because they report it's so inconsistent in some places. Just give me a second. Gonna get up and stretch. Um, enjoy. Actually, I was gonna give you guys this screen, but if I mute Ableton, it should show you a cat in the rain. There we go. I'll be back. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna make coffee, guys. So I might be 10 minutes at most, like in and out before I get back to sitting, but I'll answer this question. Oh, and nice, nice, Dan. Yeah, definitely after my project's done, which, I'm doing this twice a week, you know, 2 sessions for a few hours, trying to like do a track until I get my everything done. So I'll probably do this until, let's say, September. And then I have to, when I start my final semester, I'll be working on other aspects of the project. And any music related stuff is going to be like other things, not like scripture, gospel related, whatever. Um, I want to make a dungeon synth album, but I'm definitely want to try also making different types of electronic music. So we'll see. Um, will I be playing late on weekends? Yeah, I don't see why not. Like as for the summer, my schedule is very open, so I can afford to do that. But I could pretty much even when my work and school semester starts in September, I don't see why I can't do things later on weekends. I'm sure we can arrange something. Oh, stock markets. Oh yeah, those hours, huh? Jeez. Well, I'm finishing my master's in theology. Um, Not the degree I thought I was going in for. When I went back in, I was going towards engineering because I spent 15 years out of school and I wanted to go back in and finish what I started. And I explored a whole bunch. Took like an extra year and a half on my undergrad, plus extra time because I went back as a mature student. And I ended up in finishing my undergrad in theology and went in my master's. So that's why I'm doing this weird like music theology hybrid thing. Okay, yeah, working from home, day trading. That's nice. That's it. Yeah, whatever interests you, right? Um, but I also work at the university, so I guess you could say I'm also going to school as practice for teaching. So if I continue with the PhD, I'll definitely be able to try doing a professorship maybe, but after my master's I can be a sub teacher. I could be a high school teacher. I've already yeah, so I do teaching assistantship for the last 2 years. That's been it's a part-time job though, and in the summer there are no hours. Uh, but I work as a teaching assistant in the department, and yeah, I've even gotten to, I mean, it's mostly grading work and stuff and answering emails, but I have been able to give a couple of guest lectures, and I really do enjoy giving university lectures from different subjects that I think are interesting. Yeah, no work overhead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Yeah, if you can, glad you guys can pop into the stream, do your thing. Oh, anyways, sorry. I'm gonna get on that coffee. I'll be back. Well, I can wait. Okay, actually, that might be a good idea. That might be a good idea. Why not? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, I'm back at least for now, and then put Ableton back on. So wait, did was it Dan said he was leaving? Work over, headed home. I misread that the first time. Oh yeah. So Dan, thank you for popping in. I didn't say thanks, but thanks, thank you. I guess you're welcome. Thanks for popping in. I kind of have the general gist of this track, so it's mostly just arranging it, and I think I've justified the theology part enough. I've said it a couple of times, so I'm playing a melody. Here's for future Chris, so I can have all the info. Ah, he was off work. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I'll be doing this, and then I'm going to eat after this. I don't know, maybe within the hour, and then I'll get ready for the next stream afterwards. And so for future Chris, the choice was I went in the key of C, and I wanted to do a melody that was reminiscent of Amazing Grace. Because this chapter I'm focusing on the miracle of Jesus making the blind man see, and Amazing Grace was also inspired by that to some degree. Um, there's also a line on the beginning of John chapter 9 about the man's blindness existing so that the works of God could be revealed in him, and that Jesus must work now while it is the day, meaning during his mission, for the night is coming when no one can work. And so this thing being revealed is represented by the second instrument here, the sweeper saw. Sorry, the sage pad, the sweeper pad, which I modified a little bit. That's going to come over time, and it's going to reveal a very heavenly tone over the piano, and that's going to emulate kind of the revelation of the work of God represented in this man. And yeah, it's going to be quite simple, which is what I like to do. What else? The only other aspect of this is whether I want to represent the light fading to dark somehow. But I think now, in the present, in this moment, it is the day because Jesus is the light and he is still on earth. So maybe I can ignore that. I think I can focus on the other theological ideas. It's lightly theological, and I think I found 2 or 3 ways in order to represent that musically. And yeah, okay. So that's my spiel. Now to just arrange stuff, maybe record another part. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna move these parts up here. So as it stands, it's a 2-minute track. I might repeat, actually, yeah. I might copy this section, paste it at the end. Whoops. So that makes it just under 3 minutes, which I think is nice. Short. And then what I can do here is I want to automate the volume. So around here, let's say, that's going to be muted all the way down. But around here, no, we'll remove that. I think over time, we can have it reach to about 12 decibels, then even off. And then from here to here, it could fade out. Same thing here. Show the automation for the volume, and then I just want it to fade out right at the end there. Okay, let's see how that works. It's almost like I've entered a chorus part. There's a change. Similar, but it's different. Now the bright pad should start creeping in. This is the revelation of God's work. The blind man's receiving clarity. Something familiar. Finishing on something familiar is nice. Okay, and the second part ended too abruptly. Ended a little bit too abruptly, so move you up. Actually, delete you completely, duplicate these, shorten them, then copy these parts, shoot them back in there. Gonna have kind of messes with the automation. Oh yeah, big time. Can I reset the automation? Delete the automation. Okay. I think I hear my coffee. I'm gonna go get that. We'll take one. Fill out that. Oh, okay. Or you can just send me one. That works. That works. That works. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, take the majority of it. Sorry, I'm almost back. Take the majority of it. I forgot how much I had. You need to just top me off. Yeah, sorry it's that, but I totally forgot I had just enough for that's my option. Right. Okay. It's weird. The stream always says if I don't talk for a while, it says, "Oh, the audio bitrate is 0," and then it gives me this warning. So it makes me think there's something wrong, but there's nothing wrong. It's just because I have a huge filter, so to block out as much background noise as possible. Anyways, that's my story. You want another one? Let me know. Okay. Okay, so I arranged it a bit differently. So let's see how John sounds now. Oh no. So far I like it. might have the sweeper come in sooner just to give it, but I want to see how it sounds after the octave. Oh, yeah, actually, there's that transition too. Hold on. That sounded fine to me. Yeah. I already like this better. It wasn't abrupt, and the heavenly sounds coming in slowly after the octave is better. I think with the two happening in tandem, it was too much. Because now you can appreciate it for what it is, what it's doing by itself. Whoops. I'm not sure why the effect kind of peters off. Oh, hey Dan, welcome back. Okay. The volume down can start later here, can start later there. And one glaring problem was this. Okay. That one high note leading to nothing. Get rid of you. And get rid of you. Let's see how that sounds. What if I did this instead? It was better before. Maybe this is better. Take off this double, whatever this double note here was. I don't know why I did that. So maybe that'll help. Yeah, that was quite fast. Oh my god. Hi, I just went outside. I had to run out and get some milk. It was so cool. Such a nice breeze, beautiful. Trying to think here. So I can convert it to your temps. If I recall from what I calculated yesterday, I think I'm in the high 60s right now. So let's see. It's 18 times 9 divided by 5 plus 32. It's about 65 here. Yesterday was about 70. And it does go up to 80 here, but 80 where I live, it's pure humidity. I hate it. But this it's such a nice breeze outside. No, very close, Dan. I'm in Quebec, so I'm in Montreal, but You know, I'm a couple hours, I'm like an hour and a half away outside of the border of Ontario. I guess I'm technically an hour and a half outside of New York as well. Pretty close to the border of New York, actually. I think even closer to than Ontario, technically. Vancouver, yeah, Vancouver's beautiful. When I went out that area, it was just gorgeous. I was very young though when I went, but I remember it. Went across the whole west, like through the Rockies, all the way out to Vancouver. Then went to Nanaimo and Tofino, which are all these islands off the west coast of the Pacific. Oh, you were born near London. They have a Renaissance fair in London that I like going to. Um, yeah, Southern Ontario. I mean, in many ways, it's like where I am. I guess just a bit more French. The winters can be bad. They're a little bit bizarre sometimes. They start late, stick around way too long. They'll be mild, and then in April you'll have a snowstorm. And you're like, why the hell didn't you do that in February? I think they were harsher when I was younger, but yeah, they can suck. I mean, there's always snow. There's always a lot of snow that, but where I live, they're ready for the snowstorms, right? So they have the city trucks out collecting that stuff within a few hours. But it can still be pretty bad. Hmm. Yeah, I guess depending on where you live in BC. I know the winters start really early some places. Yeah, true. It'll happen here too. You'll get blinding sun. It doesn't always help with the temperature, but it's there. Now it's beautiful outside. Swear, I think in between my break here after we're gonna finish up here pretty soon, and then before I go on and do some EverQuest, yeah, I want to step outside again. It's gorgeous. The sun's out. There's a nice breeze. It's perfect day. We do get a lot of gray over here as well. My roommate, who's actually lived in BC for 10 years, was remarking on how gray it can be here, even some days. Oh, you're in Cali. Okay. Silicon Valley. Nice. Never been out that way. I take it it's pretty sunny out there most of the time. Just hot. Oh, I'm gonna listen to this one more time. I think I have to fix. Well, I have to fix the arrangement at the end. Oh no. How does it sound here? No, here. Okay, I know what I need to do here. Got this one note here. Needs to stretch out. If it can, will it? Will it let me? Hmm. Yeah, okay, the cost of living, it's all relative, I guess. I imagine it's expensive, eh? Lots of people like to head out there. Must be a huge demand for property. Okay, maybe I have to move this over. Stretch this out a little bit. Ooh, not that much, though. I need to narrow this down. To get a little bit surgical with this. I don't know if being even surgical is going to help. Hmm. Hell. What the hell? How do I zoom? Oh. How do I zoom in? There we go. That's how. So I think I want to stretch these guys out to here, shrink you down to there, there. Sorry, I'm going to check the chat in a second. What am I looking at here? Ah, I want to get rid of you two. There we go. There we go. And you two. Okay. That sounds nice, being kind of close to all of it, really. That is a bit weird. I'm used to, yeah, I am used to a bit of rain. Sounds like you get some good ham radio spots, though. Here it's because I'm in the middle of a, I don't know. There are some mountains. I have to go out of my way, but even hitting up the mountains, there's a lot of blockage. I don't know why, of all things, I mentioned ham radio. I think because I could see my radio, I have my radio in the back, and I've been thinking about it. I like to listen to the air traffic controllers every so often, but I also have a license, so if I get a chance, I like to go out and, you know, do some call outs. Okay, let's see how this works. For some reason, this guy is longer than the other guy, but there we go. Okay. I think I fixed that issue. The automation is Still pretty good. It's gonna be like there, right there. I guess that's fine. They grow like weeds, do they? Ah, jeez. All right, I'm gonna listen to this from the start. Quite nice. Good transition, I think. The clarity of the blind man is represented through the octave switch. And then the heavenly pad kind of seeps in to represent the work that is the work of God that is made evident through this man. So I think and back to that familiar melody in the beginning. Small family office sounds nice. Okay. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. Okay, I think the one thing I want to change, other than maybe adding reverb on the pad a little bit, is this transition needs to delay just a bit. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6. And then drag this out, see how that sounds. maybe a bit less. 5. Okay, that's far better. Far, far, far better. Alright, and the fade outs can be a bit more elongated here. Okay, that's good. All right. Bigger yard, better sunlight for the plants. I don't know why I read that as for my parents at first. I don't know why. I don't know why I saw parents and not plants. That's so bizarre. Oh, I would love to have a garden. We actually have a really nice shrubbery. I live in a condo, so there's a nice beautiful, public garden out front, but I would love to have my own just so I can grow a couple of things. Carnivorous plants. Holy moly. And don't fall in. That's really cool. All right, let's see what we got here. So hide automation on this channel here. I want a hybrid reverb. There we go. Some of that, please. Okay. I'm gonna solo this, play it over. Jeez, I keep doing that. Over here. Here. Put it bigger spaces. Shimmering sky. Yeah, I could see something there. You're reminding me of it's uh is it Gregor Mendel? The guy who had that basic who had the basic discovery of dominant and recessive genes. He just fascinated me as a person because I was studying towards the sciences in the beginning, so I took a few biology classes, even though it was more math and physics based. And then in theology, well, I read up on him a little bit because he was also a monk or a priest. He was just into, yeah, Mendelian. Okay, I think it was Gregor Mendel. So this guy was like a monk, right? Just messing around with plants and then discovered, hey, oh, there it is. That's the actual kind of equation to it. Yes, 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 yes. 1/4 AA and 1/2 A small a. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I always thought he was an interesting guy. Really, really into genetics too, right? Just wanted to understand how the world worked. Started somewhere simple. Was he messing with, what was he doing? He was messing with flowers, right? And he was just getting different. He was blending colors together and then seeing. I think it was flowers. Garden peas. Okay, it was the color of the flowers. Okay, okay, okay. So I remembered half of the details, maybe I'd say. But yeah, I don't know. Just thought that was fascinating. Okay, how does it sound without reverb? I definitely like it more with the reverb. It inevitably always cuts some of it out, though. Definitely sounds heavenly, though. That's the important part. Yeah, Mendel's story was cool. He crossed my path so many times when I was in my studies, and even though I was on polar opposites, and it was amazing how many like revered biologists, in the beginning of it, guys in electromagnetics, a lot of them were like extremely religious, and they just wanted to understand God in some form or fashion, and that drove them in their scientific pursuits. And so I always kind of love the crossroads there. Plant people made a killing in the pandemic, yeah. Oh, interesting. It's true, yeah. A lot of notable, yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm I'm not religious either, believe it or not. Although I have my own relationship with it, but I wouldn't consider myself overtly religious. But I did also go to I was kind of stuck in a Catholic school in my early years, so almost the same. That's insane that they crashed. Where was this happening, Sugary? Like in general, people were making a killing, like the plant people, or in certain regions, because that's it's pretty interesting that they did. Yeah, now they're trying their darndest. Quebec is so weird because they have such a religious, uber Catholic upbringing. Almost every single street in Montreal is named after a saint. Everything is saint this, saint that, and I live down the street from like a Loyola college and um an Ignatian center. Like there's just religious art, everything, everywhere you go. Half of my university was donated by why am I forgetting? Well, Loyola, so Saint Ignatius, Jesuits, right? From the Jesuits, that whole place was donated. The Grey Nuns donated buildings. So there's just for some reason the province of Quebec wants to forget that though. But when I was growing up in the early 90s, uh, pretty much yeah, my school for the first while was integrated into a Catholic school. Well, okay, Jesuit high school. Yeah, there you go. I guess technically I'm in a somewhat Jesuit university, but Oh, crazy. Yeah. So there you go. I don't know what happened, but now Quebec is trying to be the most secular thing around, you know. It's very weird to see. You know, we have crazy minor basilicas here, huge religious centers. Almost every street is named after a saint, and the government's trying to just ban any kind of religious anything. They're even cutting funding for a lot of religious related stuff. So me trying to find a job as like a in the theology department, I've seen some posting for religious studies, but I'm not really a religious studies major. I'm a theology major, which is a little bit more, you know, it's more the study of God, not the study of cultures and how they practice religions. But anyway, it's yeah. Yeah, my experience wasn't bad, at least. It was very strict though. I remember that my principal was, oh god, the things they had us do, I thought it was normal, you know, like lining up in ranks and everything. And like they had us line up in ranks, um and do like two by six ranks, and then if you were slightly disordered you'd get stalled and then you'd lose time for recess, and the principal would be yelling out the window on a megaphone. And I thought it was normal. I'm like, okay, you know, they're just being strict, it's a school. But a lot of my friends didn't have the same experience. And then the only other relatable thing I found out was like, you know, like Nazi Germany. That was the closest thing I could find. I was like, oh, okay, it's basically like, you know, it's kind of like Nazi Germany in a way, or just be like being in the military, period. It doesn't have to be Nazi Germany, but it was a very strict and orderly upbringing, but and then 10 years later I'm growing up and everything's different. Nobody teaches like that anymore. It was like, what the hell happened? It was such a culture shock for me. Oh yeah, some nuns. I was raised by nuns a little bit before that. For it was like a preschool thing. Um, that was an interesting experience. But yeah, not my grandmother was very religious. My mom, that's where the disconnect was. My grandmother was very devout Anglican. My mom was baptized, but she didn't go through her confirmation, I think, and so there was a disconnect. I think my grandma wanted to be me to be more involved. My mom didn't really care. And then but I always was interested in it. So I'm not like super religious, but I'm fascinated by religions and the ways we think about God and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I found a happy place in theology, even though I'm not like it's weird. It's weird to even talk about because I'm not religious, but I kind of feel like over time I'm warming up to the idea more, and I have more many more words. I have a whole language now in which to talk about my experiences, I guess. So, yeah. But yeah, sugar, yeah, it was just such a weird. I I just don't know any other elementary schools that did it like that, but mine was in particular, and I think it might have been that one principal. Now that I think about it, I don't think it was like a policy of the school of like, oh, we have to have the children line up and do this, and I think it was this one principal. She was scary, like terrifying woman. Kind of looked like she looked like Ellen DeGeneres, and she just had this scary presence. It's just so I guess she was really good at her job. Like you did not want to be sent down to see this woman, you just didn't. But yeah, other than that, great experience. Just I have some fond memories. The uniform was weird. It was navy blue pants and a white. You can have a t-shirt or you could have a turtleneck, and there was a bright yellow cardigan. Oh, okay. You said your wife's religious, right? Um, okay. She go to the church. That's yeah. Um, yeah. When I was doing, I guess I was doing research. I checked out a bunch of churches at around during the winter. I went to Pentecostal churches. I went to uh oh my God, I went to a Greek Orthodox church, an more like an Arabic Orthodox church. I was checking out a few things, and my experiences were so different. Even in the Orthodox churches, uh, the Pentecostal churches were mind blowing because they're so disconnected from any kind of a religious hierarchy. But then I went, and it was like women have to have long hair and have to wear dresses that cover their knees, and all the men were like in business suit like blazers. They, you have to have short hair, no piercings, no tattoos. So you can imagine I felt a little bit out of place. They were all so welcoming and stuff, but it was just we were dressed casually and they were all super dressed up. And I have long hair and I have piercings, although you can't really see them, and it was weird. It was just such a yeah, like Mormons. It's weird to see like even in Orthodox, you think oh everybody's gonna be super dressed up, and a lot of them are, and then some of them came in real casual, like and super late too, like coming in the middle of the mass, and I was thinking to myself like, aren't you not supposed to do that? I don't know. I don't know. The polos, yeah, scratchy polos. The people that their service is in silence, Mormons. Oh, Quakers. Yeah, yeah, Quakers. I actually have a friend who's a Quaker, but there's a few different, there's Quakers that they just sit in silence, and then if they're inspired to say something, they speak up. And then there's other Quakers, the newer type, that I think they go to a church and they celebrate a little bit. It's more like Pentecostals, a little bit more. But I'll have to ask her though. The classical Quakers, they just sit and say nothing. Oh, Society of Friends, yes. That might be, I think, I guess that's what the classic ones call themselves, yeah. But yeah, they'll just sit there. Um and sometimes nobody speaks for 3 hours. It's fascinating. Yeah, right? Could be. Ah, okay. I forgot. I'm gonna listen to this one more time. Ooh, a luncheon. Nice. That's not too bad. Oh, 45 minutes to an hour, I guess is what yeah. It's not too bad. Feel like a lot of Catholic masses are about an hour. I know even depending on where you go though. I went to a Pentecostal service and they just wing it a lot of the time, right? And I swear I was sitting in my seat for 2.5 hours. Crazy. And they had the speaking in tongues and everything. It was what an experience. But you're there for a long time, but they put so much emphasis on the music too. You know? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like even Orthodox divine liturgies, I think they stop around the 1.5 hour mark. It used to be longer, but they've shortened it, right? Oh wow, yeah, formal Catholic wedding. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, how come I hear nothing? Oh yes. Oh right, I added reverb. I want to see how it sounds with reverb. Okay. Catholic funerals too. Hmm. Still, yeah, quite long. That's the thing in my degree, we never go over a lot of the formal stuff. So if I want to learn like how it is to be certain type of Christian in practice, like theology is not really teaching me that, right? Um, it's more like studying the church fathers and learning to read the gospel like in a critical way, or trying to date the different books and date and show how they're historically relevant or things like that. So it's because someone asked me, they were like asking me questions that if I were a Christian I would have known, and I said, oh no, that's not what I'm learning, and they were so confused. They're like, I don't understand what your degree is, and I'm like, sometimes I don't either. But yeah, that's why I have to bring myself to a church or watch videos in order to really learn what it is to be a Christian, right? No? Whoops. Oh, really wish I could figure out what the hell that was. 10, 15 minutes into my stream, it was like a horrifying screech. I told myself I was going to watch it back because I want to see how I look when I'm legitimately terrified, because I actually thought like an evil spirit was coming through my headphones, assaulting my brain. Oh. Yeah, exactly. Philosophy for theology. Exactly, yeah. It's not like religion in praxis. Okay, the reverb gave me a subtle. It's subtle, and I like it. So exactly, yeah. I loved it because I when I went into when I was thinking about theology, like transitioning out of the sciences, which was a hard and weird decision to make. I had started with a double major. I just said, well, I'm going to do philosophy and theology because they seem like they're great together. Philosophy was just, there's an equal amount of, you do a lot of reading and a lot of writing in both. But philosophy was just asking like big questions, but they were ones that I ultimately didn't really care about, It was, the texts were really dense. And they can be in theology too, but in theology, I felt myself caring about the subject matter and it being more relatable. In philosophy, I just sometimes I'd finish it and say, even if I made the effort to try and understand this, like, would I care? And oftentimes it wasn't. So I ended up dropping that. Yeah, it really can be tedious. So I opted, I already had a lot of credits from exploring stuff, so I opted to just focus on theology and I took an English literature minor and yeah, and I just read lots of fantastic literature instead and spoke about it. So that was my undergrad in the end. But oh yeah, and surprisingly, well, in the master's program, there's very few of us, but almost everybody in the master's and higher, like the graduate level, are almost all practicing Christians. There's actually I have a an actual priest in one of my classes. For in India, he's an ordained priest. Just you know, taking a degree out here to expand his mind, I guess. But when you go in the undergrad level at the introductory level classes that I a lot of times work as a TA for, a lot of people are not they're not practicing. They're actually just kind of like I was in the beginning, just kind of interested to learn about stuff. Some of them think, "Oh, this will be an easy class," and it can be easy if you like the subject matter and you like to read and write. Otherwise, it can be very demanding. I'm one of the only, yeah. Um, but I've been thinking about this, like where it stands in my own life. I've been thinking about it so much for years, but I'm still kind of sitting on a fence, really. Nobody seems to care though. It actually works out in a way, I think, because I don't have any kind of I don't want to say a bias, but versus someone who heavily practices religion, they're taught certain things or they're used to understanding things in a certain way, whereas I'm coming with this clean slate of like I'm not married to any one idea. So not saying they don't also have an open mind, but it's a lot easier for me to just impartially exist and study. I don't preconceived assumptions. Yeah, exactly. I barely have any of that. I'm just here to learn stuff, man. Like that's it, right? So yeah, I think it's nice in that sense. Um, Kind of why I opted to do the project based stuff because I thought, oh, well, I like to do music as a hobby, and when I'm doing music, I'm feeling a certain way that is beyond me, and maybe theology can help me talk about that a bit. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing a music related project, but I had an option to write a thesis. I just chose not to. I'll have an option later if I want to, but for now, yeah, I'm trying to be creative, which I love that they gave me the option to do that. It's just it was difficult finding a supervisor because most of the supervisors only supervise thesis based stuff, and so I luckily I found a professor who's passionate about art and music as well, but he's really more into like classical stuff. And I told him, well, I'm really doing like experimental whatever, you know. Anyways, oh yeah. So I'm happy with this. For now, I have a basis, and that's all I wanted to, so I'm going to export this as John 9. I'm going to go back when they're all done, and I'm going to look at them and decide whether I want to tweak or master, but as a very, like, starter position, I'm happy with this. Yeah, and he's great. I work with him a lot. He's a very eccentric Swiss man. Oh, I say eccentric. Well, he's Swiss, and he always makes jokes about like how because he's from Switzerland, he's extremely um what's the word I want to say? Not prompt, but punctual. He'll always make comments of like, the things that are specifically Swiss that he thinks very highly of. But he's also just a walking library. Even walking into his office, it's just wall to wall books. And the guy speaks like four languages. He's just kind of I look at him and say, who are you? I'm like, who are you? He's fantastic though. He doesn't have like an ego about it, but he's kind of a brilliant man. He speaks many languages. He knows a lot about really interesting theological literature, like medieval Christianity and apocryphal literature, which is like the stuff that's not in the Bible, but that the early Christians were writing about. He knows a lot about those like obscure books and like medieval Christianity, which can be very dense itself. Like Thomas Aquinas comes to mind. Just that guy alone, I don't think any one person could study everything that one guy has done. Like even Thomas Aquinas, who is this person? Like he just has so many works that it's impossible to study everything he's done, and yet he found a way to write all of that. There's just anyway. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but um, yeah, I'm finding my place, and I was worried about having that specific prof as a an advisor, but no, I loved all of his classes. We get along well. I've worked for him every semester for 2 years now. I always end up in one of his classes, and I know how he likes to do things, so it's an easy workflow. It's still demanding, but I don't have to ask him any questions. I get the work, I just do the thing, I hand it back into him, and there's very little that needs to be communicated there, so it works out. Um, on that side note, on that note, I mean, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Oh, that's fair. No sugar. I'm actually stopping the stream because I've done the music part. So Shiner time. Enjoy. You're making me think about whether I want to get myself I don't know, beer, maybe some whiskey. I don't know. Uh, but I'm off for now. I'm gonna eat and take a break for the next maybe 2 hours. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy for a bit, and then I'll be back with I guess I'm gonna start by making my P99 character and just moving around my UI, and then I might end up doing Frost Reaver. We'll see. It depends on who pops in, but yeah. Yep, I'll definitely be streaming though. So maybe I'll start in about 2 hours, latest 3 hours from now, like absolute latest. Take care, guys. See you soon.